Hey guys, I want to give you a quick overview of the instant replay system and match highlights in FIFA 21. And I had this bit of fun with a local team, Luton Town, and it was 5-4 and it finished with a wonder goal, which I just want to show you, which was from James Collins, the legend. And look at this, absolute beautiful goal. Now it was so fast, it was like, whoa, it was like a cannon. I wanted to see it slowed down, so here's another view of it. Just look how the power of this goal is just awesome goal. So of course you just want to go back and see that in slow motion and see it again and again. So if you're at the match highlights, I like that shot there where he's jumped on the old billboard there, brilliant. But you can hit R stick when you're in the highlights mode, and then you get this little play thing here, which I thought was a bit confusing, and like, what on earth is going on here? So if we come back to it, just play the goal again and then hit that right stick, what you then have is this instant replay mode. Now what I'm using is the left and the right trigger to move the figure along, or rather the timeline and our little footballers. And the more I press on the right stick or the left stick, the more speed I get from going along. So you think, okay, that's quite nice. Now it's quite annoying having the instant replay stuff in the way. So what you can do is hit Y, and this is on the Xbox, by the way. If you look at the little icons down the bottom, if you're on the PS4 or another system, you'll see different options, but for the Xbox it's Y to hide it, and then you can still use that left trigger and right trigger to play along. Now what's also cool about this is, of course, when you see the highlights you only see it from kind of the preset views, but when you're in this mode, if you go in here again, and you can see that we've got the X option there is telly, and if you hit that, you'll flick two different views. So you can hide that and hit the X. So I've hit Y just to hide it, and I'm flicking through the different views here. And what's quite cool about this is some of these you can actually, or rather the orbit one's the one I want. So if I go to orbit, I've got control over how this moves along, which is quite cool. So I can see the player here. So James Collins with this epic shot, look at it. Now we'll slow it down, boom. So what we're tracking here at the minute, as you can see, the camera is moving with the ball, which kind of makes sense, you often want to see that. And of course that angle there, good luck, getting that sort of angle in a real game. So it's really cool to see, look at the detail on the character and how everything's moving. We can zoom right in and see everything. And you can also do things like pan. So now I'm panning with the left stick, just a little bit. Depends on the sort of angle that you've got. Sorry, the right stick you can pan with. The left stick's zoom forwards, zoom backwards. But we could go to here, rewind. And again, we're following the ball. So now we're getting a good view of the crowd. And then, boom! What a goal. So, yeah, absolutely. Look at the keeper. So, of course, the other cool thing about this is you can see different views by different players as well. So we're looking at the ball view there, but if you hit the right button, you'll flick through the different characters on the pitch. So it's quite nice because you see what other little players are doing. So as I scroll through here, you can see the keeper's like, yeah, get in. And again, you can use this orbit just to zoom in, and you could get a nice action shot. So you can see he's all happy, he's got a little grin on his face. You can go right up close on the face if you want, or you could have a top profile there. You can spin round with the right stick. So it's really cool that you've got this wonderful detail after the game. Look at that, we've even seen the crowd bouncing backwards and forwards as we're seeing the keeper show his applause for James Collins' awesome shot there. So that's cool, but if we flick through, sometimes you'll get an interesting angle from another player's sort of camera on that player, like here. So, maybe a player behind James Collins, and you'll get this slightly different look. So look how up close we are now to his boot, and we're getting that detail on the boot, but we're actually focusing around a different player behind him. But it just so happens that's quite a nice angle to get quite a cool action shot. So it's great for stills, but of course you could just play the thing through and get quite a cool look. So but yeah, what a lovely goal. And if we go back to those play things, there's a couple of other things that are quite interesting as well. You can set the speed, so with your left stick, if you just hit play, let's just go back to a mode where we can see what the heck's going on. Hang on, I'm going all through the players now. So you'll flick through them, you see the little yellow mode there. Come on. too many players. Look at them all. They all look grumpy. There's the ball mode. So that's kind of what we were on before. So we'll zoom out. And then we've got that nice tracking going on. But you can also, on that Y stick, set trainer indicators on. And this gives you a bit more info, like where people are running. So if I hide that, you can see we've got like the run direction going, where the ball's going. And then look, Bosch, showing where the kick was going. Oh, what a beauty, look at that. Boom! So yeah, it's quite cool that you've got all these different modes on there. I don't think I've forgotten anything. Oh no, there is one other thing that's quite nice. So rather than you have to manually go through where you're varying speed here, so you can see I can speed up, slow down with the kicks. You can also just hit A to play it, and there's normal speed. But if I rewind back and then hit the left stick, I can go to a slower speed. So I've got my slow-mo on now. And I just see everything nice and in slow-mo. So that can be quite cool if you want to just record several different types. Whoops, I've still got that training aid on, so I just hit right stick to get that off. But you could do multiple angles of your favourite goal. And if you set the slow-mo on, or you could do it in normal mode or whatever, and just record them all and see them all in different ways. You can also pan the camera as the ball's moving, or around anything, so you can get some really interesting angles like that, and then zoom in with the left stick to get these different modes. And then of course you could follow the player afterwards and see some celebrations. You can also get some nice up close shots of them celebrating, and of course you can do this on any of the goals. So I think it was a nice goal. I think it was Harry Cornick, so that's happening in Luton Town here. And again we've got the same thing. So I'll just bring up the replay. So there's my replay. And then I'll go to, was it the orbit? Oops, not there. And again, you've got the player. Just flick through them. Where's he gone? Just wanted to show you could also do things like this celebration after he scored. There he is. So there he is. And you can see, like, if we went to this mode here, or rather this angle, we could get quite a nice, he's got quite a nice smile on his face I saw after he'd scored, so you could rewind that back and either have him playing fast, but I find the slow-mo looks quite nice. So there you go, look at that, pretty cool, huh? So that's just how the instant replay mode works, and you can get some really nice angles. Like I say, you can move it around. It's really lovely that of course you've got the crowd in that we haven't got at the minute with all the COVID fun that's going on. It's just horrible, isn't it? But you can have a good bit of fun with FIFA and get some real happy, shots like that. I think that's a brilliant shot. Hopefully that was useful to you. If it was, give us a thumbs up, please. That's much appreciated. Anything you want to see about FIFA, I've just got the latest version. Again, I just going to have a little play with it now on the channel and see what I can come up with. But that goal, let's just see that goal just one more time because it was beautiful. Here we go. Just finish off on it. Boom! What a cracker. And I love his little celebration at the end, so we'll just see the celebration just to sign off. Thanks very much for watching, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed that magnificent goal by James Collins of Luton Town. Thanks for watching.